What's going on, guys? Kiger here. We have the mount, costumes, fate cards, and skills for all three units. Let's get into it.
반드시 돌아오게 하겠어.
더 이상 하수인만으로 남지 않아. 이제부턴 나를 위하여 오로지 나만 깨어있을 뿐.
멈춰!
모두들
절대
후회? 하, 네가 누구랑 얘기하는 줄은 아는 거야?
Alright, guys, I'm going to work our way up. First, we have Hamsky, the mount, and 100% speed, and mount privilege. This is the one that people generally go for, getting privileged ones. For the outfit, loyal villains. This is for females, Nabe, and this is for male. It looks like you can at least color the hair because or it's based on whatever your beauty salon is, because the regular one is supposed to be black hair, so that's interesting. The fate cards look really awesome. For example, this is my favorite artwork at all. But there's going to be 12 in total. There's a lot of break and pierce, as well as crit and damage increase, break and pierce. And there's one more type. I'm trying to find it. Block and protection. Those are the three main types. There's a couple random ones in between as well. But I mean, look at some of this artwork. Look at our boy Ainz right there. All of them from the movie. These are some movie posters. Boom, boom. There. And this is from the most recent movie. Then for what you guys really came for, first we'll look at Albedo. Albedo passive takes effect when Albedo's in battle. After the master triggers block, he gets a shield for a percentage of his health, which lasts for 6 seconds with a 20-second cooldown, up to 8% of your HP as a shield whenever you trigger block. Then Walls of Jericho, the ability, summons the walls, dealing damage. The master gets 15% extra attack and a shield for 20% of their attack as a shield. So you get the attack buff, and the attack buff turns into a bigger shield for 6 seconds. If damage received from the master is higher than 10% of their current HP, block will be 100%, will be plus 100%. So it's not always going to happen, it's plus 100%. So if they have 300% break and you have 100% block, this puts you at 200%, they're still going to break you. So you still have to kind of go towards block as a stat to make this happen. But your block recovery will be reduced by 80%. I don't think this matters, because block recovery is a stat that I don't suggest people build regardless. Block is just fine as it is, and this buff lasts for 6 seconds. And when you hit an enemy, it doesn't say that's affected by Walls of Jericho, but it appears that it would be someone who's hit by the skill. They'll be slowed by 80% for 2 seconds. Now remember, all skills will have a level 2 effect, a level 5 effect, and a level 8 effect. The level 2 effect right here is actually the bread and butter of the skill. When released, it dispels all debuffs from the master. If any debuff is successfully dispelled, it'll increase the damage of the Walls of Jericho. Remember, debuffs aren't the same as CC, so it's going to be attack down, speed down, things like this. It'll even be things like heal reduction, things like that. Things that reduce you are considered debuffs. Things that stop you from moving, things that stun you are not debuffs. Level 5 effect. If the master receives... So, as we saw right here, from the main effect, it's if you take more than 10% of your HP as damage, it'll guarantee block. This level 5 is just a wordier way of saying all types of damage. So that was 10% or more. This is under 10%. So in all range, you will guarantee, well, not guarantee, you'll get that plus 100% block rate on all damage coming in. And the minus 80% block recovery. And at level 8, the base effect of right here, the plus 15% attack and plus 20% of your attack as a shield, is now doubled, 30% and 40% respectively. Seems pretty fine. It's definitely not what we thought it was going to be just from looking at the animation. Myself and a lot of others thought this was going to be something like Mistletoe, but they cannot exit. Instead of you get stunned when you try to exit. But this cleanse is kind of nice. The always, not always, but this plus 100% block is pretty cool. And the passive of whenever you trigger block, which you will with the Walls of Jericho, you get a shield for 6 seconds with a 20-second cooldown. The passive of getting a shield is confusing because it says when Albedo is in battle, so I am unsure. We will have to do testing to see if this does work in things like Top League, for example. Moving on to Chaltier, the passive, this one does work in things like Top League. A pretty cool effect. This skill will take effect when switching to Chaltier. Chaltier releases a shockwave with a radius of 10 meters. Same effect and range as Milim, which as you know is a very, very powerful unit. Doing AoE damage and a knockback of the enemy, and reduces damage of friendly parties for 6 seconds. So it's going to be you, your whoever's technically on your team, as well as any summons that you have. And this will scale up to 20% reduction of damage for you, your allies, and your summons. Now the skill, Magical Enhancement for Million Nova. AoE damage, the enemy hit will receive 20% of the master's attack as burn damage per second for 6 seconds. So that will be 120% of your attack as damage as burn, meaning it'll ignore defense. The master's HP steal rate plus 10%. When the master causes damage to an enemy and triggers HP steal rate, the damage will increase by 20%, lasts for 6 seconds. So it'll now be a 12-second duration of this burn damage, which is a lot. Level 2 effect is burn duration double, so it'll last longer. Level 5 effect is PvE, player versus environment, player versus monsters. 20% more damage to things weak to fire, and we already have things like Winter Cherry to give them fire weakness if they don't already. We have Chestnut Rose to give them 30% more fire weakness. This is another 20% fire weakness. Level 8. So this is an issue that HP steal rate always falls into. Is HP steal rate, as you increase HP steal rate, it's just the chance of triggering. It'll always heal the same amount, 14% and 40%. 14% for AoE, 40% for single target. Now, this level 8 effect, while you're under the effects of magical enhancement, all healing you receive through HP steal rate is plus 30%. And when an enemy is damaged and you trigger HP steal rate, the damage is increased by 40% for 6 seconds. So her passive is really the name of the game here for Chaltier. A great thing to bring into for her PvP. She's primarily here for the Impure Impact Shield, which is a main thing for her battle armor. The AoE damage and the damage reduction coming in. And for PvE, she's primarily going to be here for the level 5 ability for the fire weakness. Now for the one everyone is going to lose their minds over, Ainz. Yggdrasil paid item. We have the skill will take effect when switching to Ainz. Master's crit rate will increase by % for 8 seconds, and the damage caused will ignore shield. So 8 seconds. The issue here is I'm not seeing a cooldown anywhere. Now that everything has gone in-game on global, once that happens, we should see a cooldown somewhere. It's probably going to be 20 or 30 seconds. But right here, I don't see a cooldown. But when you swap to Ainz, you will get up to 12% crit rate for 8 seconds. And all of your damage will ignore shield. This, to me, is worded in such a way that it'll ignore shield from your skills, but not from your fairy skills. Because those are different sources. Now, Sky Falling, but from the anime or the movie, Fallen Down is the direct translation. Expands instantly, swallowing everything in range, dealing damage. When casting, the enemy's immune to control, immune to slow, and cooldown reduction effects become invalid within 6 seconds. That is going to turn off Cat. That is going to that's going to mean if someone does Cat preemptively, if someone does Star Blessing preemptively, turns it off. It also says they can't use it. It also turns off Dragon Roar. It also turns off Strength of Nature. These are the strongest abilities in the game because they're your get out of jail free cards. If you get hit by a Fallen Down, damn, they just all get turned off for 6 seconds. And the master, so you, the caster, will get attack damage plus 5%. When hitting an enemy, slows by 80% for 3 seconds. And healing, their healing amount is reduced by 80% for 6 seconds. So a lot of bad stuff happening on the enemy. And as a reminder, what we saw from Walls of Jericho, that would get rid of this slow, and that would get rid of this healing reduction, but it would not get rid of the immune control, immune slow, immune reduction. Damage caused by this skill cannot crit, but every 1% of crit will be turned into break, which is a ridiculous thing, because even if you are building break, you are naturally going to have some crit in your build just from base resources. So you're turning those wasted resources of crit into break for this skill. When the damage caused by the skill is not crit and is not blocked, it will deal 150% extra damage. And the level 2 effect is if the target has a shield, the skill damage rate will be increased by 100%. It will double if they have a shield. That is wild. Level 5 effect is the master, so you damage reduction plus 10% and tenacity plus 10% for 6 seconds, so it makes you tankier. And the level 8 effect is the damage caused by the skill will ignore 30% defense and 30% damage reduction, so you are just going to deal a lot more damage. Now Ainz is seeming like the strongest unit here, just for the base effect, and the level 2 effect is enough. Obviously you would love to have a level 5 and level 8 effect, and if it's going to be anything similar to what we had previously, the Holy and one of the elementals will be on a banner, and the other elemental will be free for 1 copy. If we go over to my Discord and the resources, you will see that this is part of what we saw on the China CN announcement adventure quest. This is very similar to what we saw from the first collaboration with Slime for Diablo. This is Momon, which is Ainz but in a different outfit. I am expecting, just because of this artwork and the name of the adventure quest, that we will do our dailies, get some sort of item, and then use that item to evolve Momon into Ainz, and then we will get a copy of Ainz. That is an assumption. This is not guaranteed, but based on what we're seeing here, we also know that we're going to be fighting Shaltair as like a server competition, and ideally Shaltair is going to be the bonus unit for that. So just like we also had fighting Milim, fighting Natsu, those were the bonuses. So I am expecting it to be a Albedo banner and a Shaltair banner with Momon or Ainz being the free hero. Let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, guys.